What's up, party people? Damien from Flowforge here. Today I want to talk about one of the things that's probably killing you slowly and softly, just destroying your productivity entirely. As someone with ADHD, you probably have this, and honestly, it's one of the most insidious productivity killers. Because you can still be getting a lot done and still have it, and it's basically destroying your mental health is what it's doing. And it can cause you to downward spiral like every single day, is perfectionism. And you may think that you have a handle on perfectionism, but you don't really, because it kind of comes in stages. Now, perfectionism sucks because what it essentially does is it robs you and whoever you are trying to serve, which may also just be you, may also be your future self, right? Maybe a better, happier version of you, or somebody else, you know. But whatever it is, it robs you and another person of experience before it even happens. And it can make something that should have taken 3 days take 3 months. It's really, really insidious and bad and gross and not good and yucky and icky, and you need to not be a perfectionist. And if you're a perfectionist, you have a problem. And if you have a problem, you have to solve the problem. Okay? I mean, this thing is killing you. And it's hard. Okay? I understand it's hard. You are a person who has a certain level of quality for yourself. Whoa, we got a box? Okay. You have a certain level of quality for yourself where you want things to be, you have a certain standard of how things should be when it's you, right? So I understand this, and it can feel like you're being a cheapskate. I understand, like, you have a certain level of quality that you want for yourself, and you almost feel like if you don't meet that, then you are essentially being a cheapskate, or like you're not measuring up to other people. It can feel like, but I need you to understand something. You're intelligent, you have good ideas, and you know in your heart of hearts that you just need to finish things. Even like, in fact, I would say this: if you have ADHD, your 100% is other people's 80%, typically speaking. Like, when you really go all out, it's intense. It's like, who let them out? Who let them out, right? You may have experienced this when you know, had to turn in hundreds of, or like an entire paper of an assignment the night before it was due, right? So you have like access to this incredible amount of productivity under pressure, but we need to just make it so it's not pressured anymore. And like, when you're doing that, you get to the point where you're just like, okay, good enough is good enough. And guess what? You get it out, and it's good enough. It may not be the best, but it's done. That's what matters. It's done. Being done, having things finished, is so much more important than them being of the quality that you might enjoy. And the way you can think about this is, I want you to think about every task that you finish is like an asset. And this is true because, you know, just, it doesn't need to be the highest quality asset. What matters is the volume of assets that you own, because assets will help you grow momentum, and they're a gift that keeps on giving, right? Like, that's what an asset is. It's something that appreciates in value. Well, everything that you do appreciates you in value. That's how I need you to think about it. Everything that you do appreciates you in value. And the reason why is because wisdom is skill. And so the only way to get skill is by execution, right? Or what we call practice. And the most important thing, you can't just practice and practice and practice forever. Then you're not skilled because you have no output. Like, the output is ultimately, the result is ultimately what matters. And so I'm telling you the result is what matters, but I'm also telling you, like, you need to actually have a result, you know? So my tip for you is, if you know that your 100% is another person's 80%, then what that means is that your 80% is another person's 100%, basically. So you need to just be okay with doing work 80% good. Like get 80% of the way there. And then that's enough. That's good enough. It's literally ready to be shipped. Once you are 80% sure, or once you're sure that you're 80% of the way there, ship it. Just send it. And what we call this is a minimum viable product. And that's another thing. In fact, I'm going to dive into this whole philosophy real quick. So 80% isn't really your minimum viable product. In fact, you can get much closer to 0%, and still it's a minimum viable product and it's done. And it's an asset that you can be appreciating on immediately. And the way to think about this is your minimum viable product is exactly what it sounds like. It's the bare minimum with what you can get away with. Whatever you think is good, you need feedback on. Like you need feedback on. So your minimum viable product is where you start, because that's where you get the feedback. The minimum viable product is where the product starts. And what the minimum viable product also is good design. And the reason it's good design is because it has no bloat. Think about Microsoft, right? Think about Windows. It's full of bloat. It's kind of yucky. It's kind of nasty. It's spying on you. It's doing all these weird things that, like, yeah, some of this stuff is helpful, but it's just annoying and in the way. And that's typically, when you're trying to do things and you're trying to be a perfectionist and you're trying to make the highest quality that you can, that's typically what you're doing, is you're basically just adding bloat that people don't like. You may like it, but then you may find out that the user, and the user could be you too. The user could also be you, where you just find out that you basically made this whole system and you're super hyped, or this whole schedule and you're super hyped, and then guess what? It's completely bloated and it's just like nonsense and it's like hard to deal with and it just doesn't work. And the reason why is because you did no iterations. You need to release something fast and sloppy that does the bare bones minimum of what you needed it to do. And then this is something that you can build upon, right? You need a good foundation. So that's another way to think about it, is a way you can avoid perfectionism is just understanding that if you want to make something that's high quality, you have to make a minimum viable product first. And then you have to call it done, finished, good, and ship it out. And it's going to be kind of scary because you don't know what other people are going to think about it. And you don't know, like, are people going to judge you for it? Are people going to, but guess what? You can't care, because if they give you negative feedback, if people give you negative feedback, or if you don't like something about it, well, guess what? You can just go back to it and add it. And that's part of this process. Like, you have to think about when you're making something, whether it be a paper or anything, literally anything, you just get it to the point where it does the bare bones minimum, where it's like, you basically just check the box. Okay. And I know that we have like a negative connotation around that, but in this place, for this specifically, it's what you need. Like, did it just check the box? And once it's just checked the box, you can improve it from there. Like, writers, they don't start off with writing a book like all like front to back. And if they do, it's probably not going to be a good book. They go through drafts, okay? So they make the first draft, and then they write it, and then and then they do the next one, and then they do the next one. And honestly, something that would be cool is if writers, and we don't have this as like a part of society, but maybe this is something we should be doing, is we should make it normal to have books be iterated, where, you go from one to the next draft to the next draft, and they all get published, and they're all rough. And the ones that are not finished are just like PDFs online that people can review. Like, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Hell, maybe even had some open source books. That's probably a thing, and I'm just not aware of it. But you need to just get things done. Do not let perfect be the enemy of done, okay? Because if it's not done, it's dumb. That's kind of how you can think about it. If it's not done, it's dumb. If you spend all this time on your project or whatever it is, and you're making it perfect, like, another thing is you're not getting the output from it. Typically, the thing that you're working on will get you some sort of reward or output, and you can be a little bit more grubby. You can just want that right now. It's so weird how our brains do this, how we crave the instant dopamine, but then when we come to actually work on something that we're proud of, we don't want the instant dopamine. We want the sense of accomplishment, right? But you'll get the sense of accomplishment if you just release it. If you just put it out there and get feedback on it, okay? And then other people will give you cool ideas that you could have never possibly had. You'll make these chemical reactions with other people, or with yourself, with your own ideas after you actually use it and have it in your hands. And it's like, oh, this doesn't work exactly like how I thought it would, or this doesn't convey exactly what I thought it would convey, you know? And it can become an evolutionary process that's much more exciting and fulfilling rather than just, you know, trying to, I don't know, like steep in it and just like steep and steep. And it's like, the water is getting cold, guy, you know? So, and that's another way you can think about it, is don't let the water get cold, you know? Tea or coffee, they're best hot. Unless you like iced tea. I like iced tea. Let me know in the comments what your favorite kind of tea is, or if you like coffee, and which type of coffee do you like. And my recommendation for that as somebody with ADHD is, you know, just try not to get addicted. If you are, it's definitely worth getting off of it, because the whole like ADHD benefits from caffeine, it's true, but only at a low level. Like that's the reality. And some people are more sensitive to caffeine. I know I'm much more sensitive to caffeine, so for me it's a really, really small amount. But like experiment and figure out what is the best amount of caffeine for you, because but if you're addicted, then you literally can't figure out. Like, you need to get back to a baseline. So the way you can stop your caffeine addiction is by just cutting your caffeine intake in half every week. And if you just keep doing that, then you'll be good. And what you can do is, you know, if you're drinking tea or something, you can water it down. So you still have the cup of tea or the cup of coffee, but it's like watered down a little. You just use something else, right? But yeah, a caffeine addiction is not healthy for you. Okay, it's making you wired, and it's messing up your sleep. If you drink caffeine later in the day, it's much harder to get sleep, and sleep is very, very important. And you already have struggles with sleeping because of your circadian rhythm is messed up by ADHD. So you need to just be careful, make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're just finishing things, guys. Like, I don't want to hear I'm working on it, okay? I better not hear that in the comments. It's just, you shouldn't be working on it. You should be finishing it. You need to join the cult of done. I believe in you guys. This is kind of a shorter video. I have somebody coming to visit really quick here, so I'm going to end it off right here. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you thought this was helpful and you want other people to see my content, go ahead, like and subscribe, comment, and do all the things that juice up the algorithm. And if you want help with this, because I know it's kind of an addiction. Like, you can have an addiction to perfectionism, and it's like feels almost impossible to stop. If you want some more support and help with this, go ahead and join the Discord, because I can help you with things in that chat. And then if you want help in your productivity journey with ADHD, which ADHD productivity is completely different from neurotypical productivity, they're completely different skills, I can help you out. My mentorship is $50 per session. And if you want to switch to Linux painlessly and make it really have a system that's yours and not be spied on by Microsoft and all this crazy proprietary software, if you want to make the switch to using open source software in a productive way without all the pain and troubleshooting as much anyways, then I can help you with that. So that's $100 per session. Just let me know in the comments if you want mentorship or if you want this, and I'll help you out, guys. I'll meet you in the comments. All right. Have a good day. Peace. Thanks for watching.